Nerva, the 12th emperor of the Roman Empire, reigned from 96 to 98 AD. His brief rule marked a pivotal moment in Roman history, as it signaled the end of the Flavian dynasty and the beginning of the Five Good Emperors era, a period of relative stability and prosperity for the Roman Empire. Though Nerva's reign was short and his rule was not marked by major military campaigns or territorial expansion, his leadership was critical in shaping the future of the empire. Marcus Cocceius Nerva was born on November 8, 30 AD, in a distinguished family of the equestrian order. His father, Marcus Cocceius Nerva, was a consul under the reign of the Emperor Tiberius, and his mother was from a prominent family as well. Nerva was well educated and developed connections within the Roman elite. His early career saw him holding various public offices, and he became a senator, which helped establish his reputation in Roman politics. Nerva's career advanced under the Flavian emperors, particularly during the reigns of Vespasian and his sons Titus and Domitian. He served as a consul in 71 AD and again in 90 AD, solidifying his status within Roman society. During this time, he gained a reputation for being a capable administrator and an individual of integrity. However, his association with the Flavians was somewhat indirect, and he was not a key player in the more tumultuous events of the period, such as the Flavian dynasty's military campaigns and Domitian's increasingly autocratic rule. Nerva's ascension to the throne was the result of a coup, driven largely by the growing discontent with Emperor Domitian. Domitian's reign, though marked by relative military success and expansion, was characterized by his increasing paranoia, authoritarian rule, and harsh treatment of the Senate and aristocracy. His reign saw numerous executions, purges, and the establishment of a climate of fear in Rome. This led to widespread resentment among the senatorial class, and eventually a conspiracy to remove Domitian from power. In 96 AD, Domitian was assassinated in a palace conspiracy. His death created a power vacuum, and Nerva, a respected senator and experienced public servant, was chosen by the Senate to become emperor. At the time of Domitian's assassination, Nerva was 66 years old, and his selection was seen as a compromise to restore stability to Rome without plunging the empire into further chaos. While Nerva's assumption of power was largely backed by the Senate, it was also facilitated by the military, which had grown weary of Domitian's tyrannical rule. Nerva's reign lasted only about 16 months, but it was marked by important reforms and changes that had long-term consequences for the empire. One of his first acts as emperor was to address the abuses that had occurred under Domitian. He quickly moved to secure the release of political prisoners, reinstate senators and public officials who had been dismissed by Domitian, and sought to heal the wounds caused by the former emperor's oppressive policies. Nerva also worked to restore the power and dignity of the Senate, which had been undermined under Domitian's autocracy. He restored many of the rights of the Senate and reduced the level of imperial interference in the Senate's affairs. However, despite his efforts to restore senatorial power, Nerva's reign remained a delicate balance between satisfying the Senate and maintaining control over the military and imperial administration. One of the most significant actions of Nerva's short reign was his decision to adopt a successor, a move that would shape the future of the empire. In 97 AD, Nerva adopted Trajan, a successful general from the Danube region, as his heir. This decision was crucial as it ensured that Rome would be governed by capable leadership after Nerva's death. Trajan's military and administrative experience made him an ideal choice for the future emperor, and his adoption set the stage for the Pax Romana, Roman peace, that would characterize the next century of Roman history. Nerva's adoption of Trajan was a clear departure from the dynastic succession patterns that had been common under the Julio-Claudian and Flavian emperors. By adopting Trajan, Nerva signaled a shift toward a more meritocratic approach to succession, based on ability rather than family ties. This practice would become a hallmark of the Five Good Emperors period, where each emperor adopted a successor based on merit and capability. Despite these reforms and his political skill, Nerva faced considerable challenges during his reign. One of the most serious threats came from the military, particularly the Praetorian Guard, which had supported Domitian and remained a powerful force within the empire. Early in Nerva's reign, a revolt among the Praetorians led to a siege of the emperor's palace, forcing Nerva to concede to the military's demands. In exchange for their loyalty, Nerva was forced to adopt Trajan as his successor, despite the fact that he had not initially planned to do so. Nerva's failure to win the support of the military quickly became evident when, in 97 AD, a rebellion broke out in Germany, and the army demanded that Nerva make Trajan his co-emperor. Recognizing the necessity of securing the loyalty of the army, Nerva agreed, and Trajan was named Caesar and co-ruler. This move ultimately ensured the stability of Nerva's regime and provided a smooth transition of power upon his death. Nerva's reign, though brief, marked the end of a tumultuous period in Roman history and the beginning of a new era. His decision to adopt Trajan as his successor proved to be one of the most significant acts of his reign. Trajan would go on to become one of Rome's greatest emperors, expanding the empire to its greatest territorial extent and overseeing a period of prosperity, known as the Pax Romana, that lasted for nearly a century. Nerva's political philosophy emphasized the importance of securing stability and harmony within the empire, and his reforms laid the groundwork for future emperors to rule with a sense of duty to the Senate, the military, and the people. He is remembered for restoring a degree of senatorial power and seeking to govern with fairness, though his reign was also marked by the difficult balance between senatorial interests and military loyalty. Despite his successes in stabilizing the empire, Nerva's reign was short-lived, and his personal health began to decline toward the end of his life. He died on January 27, 98 AD, at the age of 68, likely from natural causes. His death marked the end of his brief but pivotal reign, and Trajan succeeded him without resistance. Nerva is often remembered as the emperor who laid the foundation for the golden age of the Roman Empire, ensuring that the empire would be ruled by capable and virtuous leaders for the next several decades. While his reign was marked by political caution and efforts to consolidate imperial power, Nerva's decision to adopt Trajan set a precedent for future emperors to select their successors based on merit and competence rather than relying on dynastic succession. In summary, Nerva's reign was short but transformative, and his adoption of Trajan ensured the continued prosperity and stability of the Roman Empire. Though he did not have the military successes or territorial expansion of some of his successors, Nerva's reign is remembered for its political wisdom, reforms, and the establishment of a new model for imperial succession. His legacy lived on in the capable leadership of Trajan and the era of good governance that followed,